Most people go solar to save money, but there are a few costs that can catch you off guard after your installation is complete. Because even a well-designed solar system comes with ongoing expenses that many installers don't want to talk about. I'm Warren with Paradise Energy, and joining me is Larry. We've helped thousands of people go solar, and a big part of that is setting clear expectations about what it really costs to own and maintain a solar system. Let's start with the most common one, Larry, and that's ongoing maintenance. Even though solar has no moving parts, there's still a few things that people need to budget for. What are those?
So one thing, Warren, that would fall under that is warranty work.
Right.
So if you have our 1010 guarantee, we're going to cover the diagnostics and the labor, and the manufacturer warranty is going to cover the parts typically. That's
Right.
typically how it's going to work. If you don't have our 1010 guarantee, then the diagnostics and the labor to replace those parts would be up to the customer in that case. So that's something to budget for. A couple other things to think about, maybe longer term things might be aging equipment, roof replacement or maintenance. So if your roof is end of life, that's something to think about. Panel cleaning. If the panels get really dirty, or snow removal typically isn't as much of an issue, but if the panels get really dirty, they might need to be cleaned. And then, of course, trimming trees. Your trees are probably going to grow over time. They might need to be trimmed and maintained in that way as well.
Even if the customer has our 1010 guarantee or they have warranties in place, they don't cover everything, such as acts of God. What do customers need to know about insuring their system?
Absolutely. The system needs to be insured properly. That is extremely important. Our 1010 guarantee doesn't cover acts of God, like you mentioned, doesn't cover storms, doesn't cover hail damage, it doesn't cover fire. So all those things will need to be covered by insurance. Basically, our 1010 guarantee, the idea behind it is that we try to cover everything up until insurance. So between insurance and that, you should be covered for the majority of items.
And of course, Larry, we know that solar doesn't completely eliminate your electric bill. There still are going to be charges from the utility. There could be other charges. What does that look like?
Yeah, so solar reduces your electric bill, but in most cases it doesn't eliminate it, because you're going to have your monthly fee.
Right.
That's going to be the same for every utility. Every utility has a monthly fee. Also, if you're a commercial customer, you're going to have a peak demand charge. So they're going to look at what was your peak demand for that month and bill you based on that. Solar may or may not be able to reduce that depending if solar was producing during that time.
And then what happens, Larry, if your solar goes down or stops working? There's going to be costs associated with that as well.
Absolutely. So if there's a warranty issue, let's say an inverter fails, it might take us a few days to get out there, and it might take us a week or two to actually replace that inverter. That downtime will increase the electric cost for the customer because we won't be producing over that time. So that's a potential from time to time with the system.
And then let's talk about monitoring costs. People like to monitor the system. We monitor systems for our customers. Are there costs involved in that?
So most of our systems come with at least 10 years, and in a lot of cases 25 years of monitoring. The way that often works is the manufacturer typically says, as long as you have our product, you can use our monitoring platform. So if I have a product from a manufacturer and that product fails, and I go with a different manufacturer, obviously I'm no longer getting monitoring through the first manufacturer. Typically that goes with the manufacturer. There are some manufacturers where we only pay for monitoring for the first 10 years.
Okay.
In those cases, then the customer is required to pick up the tab after 10 years. And in most cases where we're providing the cellular service to connect the system to the cloud, in almost every case, at the end of 10 years, the customer needs to pay for cellular from then on out.
After the 10-year period, once the 1010 guarantee or whatever installer guarantees were in place and maybe monitoring came to an end, what options do customers have?
So they can typically pay the manufacturer to extend monitoring access. They can also pay Paradise or a company like Paradise Energy to monitor the system on their platform. So we have an option for a yearly fee. We can monitor the system for you and keep you alerted.
What about hidden taxes?
Yeah, so typically there's two types of taxes that might affect your solar project. One is sales tax.
Right.
Now, Warren, we're going to already include that in the proposal, so that's not hidden. That's out in the open, taken care of at the installation of the project. The other one is real property taxes. So there may be some cases where adding a solar project to your home or business increases your property value assessment, and therefore increases your property taxes.
Correct. And some states are exempt from that.
Exactly. There's a lot of situations where you'll be exempt, but there's some cases where it might increase that.
What about costs associated with removal and disposal of the project?
Yeah, so this is a little bit difficult to really know fully because removal and disposal should be 20, 30, 40 years down the road. But there will be a cost associated with that once the system needs to be removed. How much that'll be is a little bit unknown at this point. And there's not going to be any value in the system, in the resale of the equipment, so it's just going to be a cost at that point.
So in summary, just be aware of the additional costs that could come along with solar, such as things not covered under the warranty, monitoring, insurance costs, and eventually disposing of the system and removal. Going solar is a smart long-term investment, but you have to go in with a full picture of the costs. That's why we help our customers plan beyond just the installation, with expert guidance, transparent proposals, and our 10/10 guarantee backing it all up. Before you go, make sure to subscribe for more honest solar insights and drop your questions in the comments. Thanks for watching.